Happy.
All right, time being 5:05, today's August 20th, 2023.
October,
Oh yeah, what did I say?
August.
October. All that talk of tropical islands. Anyway, at this meeting of the Tilton Northfield Budget Committee, Tilton Northfield Fire District Budget Committee come to order. Let the record show that Charlie and Jane are not with us as yet. First order of business is to choose chair and vice chair. Now, I say it every time. I don't mind serving as chair, but I'm more than happy to relinquish it to somebody else who would like to be chair, because you're never going to learn how to be chair unless you're a chair. Anybody?
I nominate Catherine.
Second. Nice pitch.
It's the only way you get out of it, Captain. She does say, I'm done being chair. Somebody else has to do it. That's the only way.
Helen says I don't know how to say no, but, you know, and I understand a lot of people don't want it, but it's, you know, not a big deal. Anyway, you sure no one else wants to give it a whirl? Oh, you can't. You're ex officio. That was close, because I know he's been chair and he's a good chair. All right. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Myself. Vice chair. We have three candidates here.
Yeah. Sure, I nominate Jason.
Second.
Nice. All right.
Putting the band back together.
We have a motion on the table. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Nice.
Aye.
Thank you.
What movie is that line from?
Which one?
The one you just said. Putting the band back together.
Oh, it's Blues Brothers. Right, the original.
Yes.
Now,
Because none of the other sequels matter. It's like Caddyshack 2. What were they thinking?
Don't know.
The things you can only get right the first time.
yeah, Caddyshack 2 is like,
Jackie Mason.
yeah. All right, now we have to decide what night of the week we're going to meet in time.
It's not going to be Friday if you
No.
want me.
This was a horrible one.
I'm on warnings for my wife, and I don't blame her.
What night can people meet?
We can do Mondays.
Every Wednesday.
Yeah.
The occasional Tuesday that we're not otherwise.
Everybody else Monday?
I'm fine with Monday.
Monday? Eric?
Except for the, I just looked at.
Except for the building committee meeting.
Yeah, we have to offset.
Those are the second and the fourth Mondays for the building committee.
So it'd have to be the first.
And the second Monday, I'm not available.
So that works out fine.
So that works out fine.
The first and the third Monday.
What time is the building committee?
5:30.
Say again?
5:30.
Okay. That's it.
Yeah, but that could just do first and third. The building committee's second and fourth, right? So if you do first
Yeah.
and third,
We're not going to need a ton of meetings. We have to ramp up then.
Commissioners only have one meeting left to finish up. They did it,
Right.
most of it in 2 meetings.
Is 5 o'clock a good time? Do you want to meet earlier? Do you want to meet later?
That's good. Today was tight, but otherwise I'm good.
Eric?
I'm good.
Right, 5 o'clock?
One to next.
So what, are we gonna set a determined schedule, or are we just gonna shoot for our next meeting being?
Well, right now we're about, what, first and third Monday at 5 o'clock.
The first Monday in November, the 6th, the commissioners are meeting to work on the budget. So,
So the one
sorry.
after that's the 13th, which is a building meeting.
Right, so
And then
it'd
one
be-
after that's the 20th.
It's 20th, yes.
You got the 23rd, which is this Monday. That's the third Monday. This one.
The building
Okay.
committee's meeting.
Huh?
The building committee is meeting.
Oh,
The
okay.
30th, we could do October 30th.
Okay, I thought we could meet on the first and third Monday.
Not, yes, we can.
The 30th is 5
The
Mondays.
30th is the
Yeah, it's the
5th,
5th one, so we can get to the 5th.
So we can meet on the first and the third Monday, right?
or the 5th.
Or the fifth.
the
We
fifth.
can't meet on the second and fourth.
Right.
Yeah, October has 5
Oh,
Mondays.
sorry.
Yeah, I
I
haven't
was
gone
looking
that
at the ninth
far.
as the first.
No.
Sorry.
How can the 9th be the first?
No, okay,
Almost
not.
so we can meet on the
Is
20th.
it a leap month?
Well, we're just meeting today, we don't need to meet on the 23rd, do we?
No,
We can't meet
we can't meet on the
23rd.
23rd, because
That's
that's
a
the
building
fourth,
committee.
Committee.
that's the fourth Monday.
No, sorry.
So the next time we can meet is
So we can meet on the 30th,
the 30th.
Yes,
or the week after, right?
no, can't meet the week,
Commissioners.
That's
Can't
the
do that.
first.
That's the commissioners.
that's commit,
They're gonna.
yeah, the commissioners are meeting on the 6th, the building committee's meeting on the 13th,
Why does the
which leaves the
commission, oh,
20th.
Jason won't be, yeah,
They beat
Jason,
you-
Eric won't be here.
They beat you to the punch on getting
Right.
a meeting date.
Good lord.
I mean, is there a lot of stuff in here that we have to wait on them anyways, or?
No.
Salaries and wages and benefits.
Other than that,
But we have a lot of work to do before we even go
Right.
there, I mean, we don't need to,
So, you know, the 30th is available.
everybody good
Got
with
it.
meeting on the 30th?
Yeah, we gotta jump on it.
And 5 PM?
We should be able to meet here?
Yes, because I canceled a meeting here on the 30th, so I'll just book it for you guys.
And not lose your deposit.
That's right.
Then you want to plan for the 20th?
So then November 20th?
That would be the next available Monday.
Wow.
And by then, the commissioners should be all done.
All done.
The occasional Tuesday, I think the fourth, I don't know what the 14th looks like for everybody, if you want to meet before the 20th.
Yeah.
I'm good with
Oh,
the
wait a minute, that
14th.
won't work for Catherine.
I have plenty more.
What's for 14?
Right.
No,
The
but-
14th is the second Tuesday, so that won't work.
Third Tuesday for sewer.
Second Tuesday is fine, the third Tuesday is not.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sewer is the third.
Oh, it's the third.
The third
The
Tuesday.
third Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. And Paul, you,
I'm good on the 14th.
14th?
What happened to Monday? How did we happen to switch to Tuesday?
Because
She's just
you,
trying to fill in before the 20th.
yeah, you guys were trying to fill in before the
We've
20th?
been taking almost a month off between meetings.
I have plenty
one.
more on that Tuesday.
You have planning board on that Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not around either.
and you're not available either?
What about the 7th?
Commissioners meeting.
Wednesday, the 8th?
Wednesday wasn't good, is that?
Oh, I thought Wednesday was working.
I can be there. That'd be, I can get around it before.
Oh,
Like 3 nights in a row, actually, that week.
my husband will kill me. But it's all good.
So we don't have a day in between October 30th and November 20th to meet?
Right, there's November 1st and November 8th, but if you're meeting on the 30th, you don't want to meet on the 1st. That's the same week,
I can't meet on Wednesdays.
right,
Oh,
at all,
I have a
That's
town
right.
budget.
you do.
It's either Tuesdays, Mondays, or Fridays.
yeah, but what time does town budget meet?
6, they changed it.
Oh,
It was
It
7.
used to be 7. I
They used to be
thought.
7.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'd have to do 4 o'clock in order for you to be able to do both of them.
Why wouldn't you just beat yourself over the head with a hammer?
I'd have to run upstairs and say, okay, I'm here. You get a quorum, and then run downstairs.
I can only say a minute.
Well, so the 6th and the 13th are both out, right?
Correct.
yeah. 28th or 20th, oh wait, no, that'll be plenty of work there too.
Yeah.
Unless you wanna do a Friday, like the 10th.
Ugh.
No.
I'm up at the North Country that day.
Fridays won't work.
North Country.
Jason is not available on
Awards.
Fridays.
Hmm?
You're not available on Fridays.
Oh, I am, but I'm not gonna just drive my life over this.
I don't wanna
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. So,
It's not that I'm not available, I just
Don't wanna be
choose not to be.
yeah,
So, for us to do our job, I don't know if that's enough time. I mean, 2 days? 1 day in November? And then we're gonna be into December?
When's this all wrapped up and done by, due by, like January?
yes,
First part of February.
Yeah.
but,
I think February
I
14th.
remember in the past, we didn't really ramp up until the middle of November
okay, so,
for the budget committee.
December 4th and 18th we can do.
Why does that seem like?
No,
The first
the
and
pie
the
is
third.
gonna be on
I wanna
the
remember-
7th or 4th, Pearl Harbor Day.
7.
That's the 7th.
Yes, that's when the fire department.
They really having it this year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
You
that?
coming?
I don't know.
you're gonna get an
It seems like,
invitation.
it seems like it's been canceled more than it's been on.
Well, that was COVID kind of.
Yeah,
When is that?
the 7th, December 7th.
December 7th
Oh,
at the Green Side.
Are you out of town again?
might be in Kansas
We
City.
can drink Pearl Harbors while we're there.
Probably at a selectmen's meeting.
Catherine will be able to walk home.
No, last couple of years.
Last year they-
Christmas.
Yeah, they came to the party.
And then,
Oh, did they? So they knew in time enough to say no meeting that night?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. Yes, I can walk over.
where's it at?
Green Side,
Side.
Lockman.
I parked the four-wheeler at the
Depends,
boneyard.
it depends if I don't know which I'm going to yet. Georgia.
Okay.
I'm thinking Kansas, but I may just fly out Friday morning.
So just put it in your calendars now. You'll get an invitation later.
You wanna plan on the 4th and the 18th of December?
So that gives us 4 solid days to budget. And our only parachute would be a Friday. So who could meet on a Friday if we absolutely had to?
Yeah, no, it's,
I can meet on
It's
the
not
Friday.
gonna happen.
Okay,
If we absolutely had to.
We
right.
get a big snowstorm on a Monday. Well, I mean, I'd be the only one probably affected because I don't know where I'll be. Most likely, from what I hear, I'll be at home, but I don't know. If it's a heavy wet snow and I gotta go out and hit it.
All right.
So,
All right, so we have 4 meeting dates that carries us through December, right?
Okay, so, yes, so we're gonna do, October 30th.
Yeah.
November 20th.
Yeah.
December
4th
4th and 18th.
Okay. Plenty of time.
Well, the only
Unless you wanna take 2 hours and argue over a lawnmower or fire marks again.
Maybe, we'll see.
No. So the only other question I have is, how do you want to tackle the budget? Do you want to, and I ask this every year, do you want to work on your own budget based on last year's or the previous year's budget? Or do you just want to work on what the commissioners present? Or a combination thereof?
I'll probably look at both, probably combo.
My suggestion is that we read through all of this information that we've been provided, which is awesome.
And if anybody has any questions about any of this, please contact me and I'll be happy to answer your questions.
And then look at the proposed budget and come up with some figures. How do you think it might look? And also think about a percentage that you don't want it to exceed 2% increase, 5%.
5% decrease.
Yeah. I kind of go with a 10% decrease myself, but that's hard to do with payroll. Anybody?
Well, I guess the other thing is, just in general terms, is, what, you have to look at what can be reduced.
That's right.
because Some line items just can't be.
Yeah, inescapable.
Right.
I find that this budget, unlike town budget, there aren't many things that you can go
Right.
and really scalpel it.
There's not much discretionary in there, it's just pretty much.
But this year, you'll be able to use the apparatus fund for more items than you have in the past. And that's gonna be reflected, I suppose, in what we look at?
It's already, yes, it's already in the budget, and
Okay.
the commission's already gone over those items as well. So, yeah, we moved about, I think it's about $80,000 or $86,000 from operating into apparatus and equipment.
Okay. Do you think there'll be a reduction in the budget because of it? No. Okay.
Because, mainly because we have to consider pay raises for our employees.
Okay. When was the last payroll study we did? 2 years ago?
I do one every year.
I know, but the one that the budget committee, I'm remembering last year that we really didn't.
Yeah,
was
last
the
year,
year
he
before?
Did we?
well, the chief provided us with one last year. It was like, I just remember it was like 1989 at least.
I remember there was
Second
quite,
by
we
hand.
had quite a long discussion about it.
Really? And the year before.
Okay.
And the year before that.
Is that study in here? Have you done it yet, Chief?
I have it. I don't know if I don't think I passed it out because I don't think usually you guys don't discuss it until after the commissioners had their hand at it, so I don't think I put it in any of your materials
No.
until after their thing, but I do have the comparison, the study that I've done, which is, these are passing around, but I gotta have it back.
I can make copies if anybody wants copies.
Would like one, please.
I'll make copies.
Where is the,
That tells us where everybody is around us and where we are.
Cool.
maybe you can, maybe we can through this a second time. The equipment maintenance and
Oh, okay.
repairs,
Like a monster thing?
where are those line
Kinda,
items?
yeah.
at?
Back.
Further
Further back.
in the
Page
apparatus and
12,
A
operating.
little lagging too.
Oh.
They're not cheap, no.
No, they're like $7.
Wow.
I haven't had them for like 3 months.
I drive by there, I mean, I live so close, and I never really pulled in and tried anything.
You'll see that
Those are
this says that it was moved over
Oh,
from,
I get these
Operating
tea.
there.
I go to
but
McDonald's.
these
is-
numbers were plugged in.
Yeah.
This is 14,000, you just
Because I
mentioned
really don't drink much
80,000.
soda anymore.
Total, there's three
I have to get my doctor's
sections
checked out.
of the
22 pounds
operating
last
budget that have been moved to the apparatus and equipment.
I knocked out,
So that
knocked out
repairs
soda,
and
but my
maintenance,
knees started feeling better, just getting out of soda.
service contracts,
How's it?
and,
Things are-
vehicle
They've had some
repairs,
rough hits at the school.
equipment,
Yeah, that was
repairs
water
and
main,
maintenance,
that was,
service
yeah.
contracts, and vehicle repairs.
It was a fire suppression thing, oh yeah, big one. John Chase got over there, it was the biggest break he'd seen in pretty much his whole career. 1,000 gallons of milk, at least.
I seem to remember the copying process being much easier than that device.
The smarter the machines get.
Tim wonders why I won't get rid of the one in my
Wow,
office.
he even did the yellow part too.
Thank you.
There's some
Well, you
extras
get-
there,
You
so.
get the extra ones. In case you read it more than
All right.
So Jane and Charlie. Welcome.
Some of these departments that the prices are starting pay for firefighter to AMT, some of those have actually gone up from what I have here because this data was accurate for July 1st, but some of them have already adjusted upwards, so.
So what are you suggesting or going to suggest?
I'm suggesting to bring us to the middle, the average of what's out there. We need to provide our employees with compensation equaling 8% increase. How we get there, there's a number of different ways we can get there. But that's the gist of it.
So you're looking for 8% across the board?
Well, there's some of the options I'm looking at is just a step raise for everybody, but then we are a 4% raise, depending upon how you want to do things. Then we add other incentives. Incentive pay for higher education, or incentive pay for certifications, or instead of the employees paying for 100% of dental, the fire department pays for dental, things like that.
Yeah.
So I have a number of options that I've worked out, which,
Well, no, it's,
because get 10 million different options and the cost associated with
no,
those.
that's important that we kind of get that, because if we decide to support training and education, we don't want to hack up the training and education lines in the budget, or the overtime therefore, right?
Right.
Because you want to be able to send people to training that want to take it. I mean, that's one of those conversations we have, right, is about the education piece. It's because there's years where you hadn't, or years you didn't because of COVID, you couldn't send people to certain training events and
Sure.
things. And you kind of wanted to make it back in the subsequent year.
So, like, say we didn't want, say if we did an 8% pay raise across the board, that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is saying, okay, we'll give everybody 2.5%, or 4%, or 3%, or something like that. But if you have a college degree, depending upon what type of college degree, we'll give you a stipend for that. Which may equal the total, what, like 8% would look like across the board.
Right.
But, so we just had an assessment center for promotional exams. And part of that promotional exam is that they have to write a letter of intent and do a research project to present to the assessment board on stuff. And you can tell the guys that went to college and the guys that didn't, just because of their writing techniques and things like that.
Or who's using AI or Grammarly?
Smart ones use some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that there's value in looking at the different ways of compensating employees, you know, for what their worth is to the fire district and what they do for themselves and how we can compensate them.
Right.
Or, to be totally fair or equal or whatever, how you want to look at it, you just do a flat percentage across the board. That's one way of doing it. But another way is if you're a go-getter and you go get yourself a bachelor's degree and you get extra certifications for like incident safety officer and swiftwater rescue technicians that we don't require, well, those are worth it for us to, you know, compensate you extra, which we don't do right now.
Right.
Do you have to have a college degree to be a paramedic?
No. We compensate.
Do you have to have a college degree to be a firefighter?
No.
So what value is a college degree?
Oh.
I mean, I say that because there are people that only have a high school education or part of a high school education, highly intelligent and very highly skilled.
I'm not saying that
So
those
I'm
people
just-
can't do the job. I'm saying when you have a higher education, whether it starts at associate's, master's, or PhD, it more than likely it broadens your thought of thinking and broadens your ability to look at things outside the box than what is normally straight down the line.
Some analytical
And-
thinking involved and some leadership and business
Critical thinking,
management.
and
Yeah.
it teaches you all that, and it also teaches you how to write and communicate better as well.
Sometimes.
I'm not saying there aren't educated idiots out there, because there are.
Thank you.
There are. But
Some
on
of
the
them are
whole,
like higher office.
folks who have more formal education are able to perform better in all aspects of the job.
Okay, interesting. All right, does anybody have any questions with the information we've received? Any to ask the chief or?
No.
I mean, am I right that you're trying to get a 2279? Is that the target for starting pay? Right?
2304.
So that's more than an 8% raise for the starting.
But the average is down here,
If you're 2110 right now, right?
Yep.
Right.
So 8% of that is 2279. So if you're looking for 2404, it's
I think when I looked at the total budget cost,
Unless you include holiday and other things in there, I suppose.
so there's the compensation cost, total compensation, and then the average starting pay. And if I figured that wrong, I wrote it down wrong. But- What did I do with my phone?
Oh, I see. So you want to go to the average, that's the.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the idea that there's some retention incentives that might be different than, we don't want to be the same or be in the middle of. I think that there's things that we could do that would make us different,
So,
you
yeah.
know? Because we don't, we always say this every year, it's like, we don't want everybody to get their training and certification and then go to wherever the paycheck is.
Another one of the things that I was looking at, and that I'll include also, is like longevity bonuses or percentages. So
Yeah.
like if you stay here for 5 years, you get X
Yeah,
on top of your base pay. If you stay here 10 years, you get Y, or a multiple of X. That happened to me when I was in Tewksbury and in Lexington, but I didn't stay long enough to get one. But in Tewksbury, they gave you 2.5% raise for every 5 years you were there, up to a maximum of 15%.
well,
So every 5 years, but no matter what happened with the contract or anything else, you got a 2.5% raise as a longevity incentive. And up to 15%, and that's where it maxed out.
Has your personnel increased, decreased, or stayed the same?
Personnel is staying the same right now. We're at 4 people per shift, plus the deputy, myself, Kathy, and we have a new part-time administrative assistant. So that's the same as last year,
Okay,
and the year before.
nice.
and on the grant, is this year 2 or 3?
This is the last year of the grant. Actually, the grant actually ends on February 8th of 2024.
Right before the meeting.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody? Questions?
I mean, in general, like, do you want to give us just an overview of what is sort of the big ticket items in here? Is there anything other than salary and stuff that's really mind blowing, or?
No, everything else is,
It's the warrant article
Like-
that'll get you.
it's like, there's very little discretionary in there. It's just the regular stuff that make us operate. We have, the IT costs, our utility costs.
Yeah.
Health insurance.
Health insurance is going up 15.6%. Same with the town.
The fleet's a little healthier, so.
The
those
fleet's
people,
healthier,
you know.
but, we still have to maintain what we have.
Yeah.
We have a rigorous maintenance program for our fleet, and the second something goes wrong with it, we fix it. We don't
Yeah.
let things hang on. That way our vehicles will last quite a long time. Outlay, we're going to get an ambulance and a pickup truck, new pickup truck.
Does the pickup truck have any special purpose other than just being a,
It's
not the forestry truck,
It's our plow truck.
it's the plow truck,
Yeah.
okay.
And we use it for, at all the fires, ends up
Yeah.
everything gets tossed into
Yeah,
it.
that's been around forever.
Yeah.
Is the second engine coming soon, or?
The second engine's here and in
It's here.
service. It's
Okay.
been here for a year.
I haven't-
Well, you can't tell the difference because they both look
Yeah,
exactly
I
alike
wasn't
except for the
keeping
numbers
up
on
with
the
Look at the
side.
numbers.
I just remember the struggle to get the first one, I don't remember how the second one panned out.
It's here.
No.
Had it for almost a year now.
Do you have to budget money for the hydrants?
So,
Good point.
we're scheduled to go to a jury trial in the second or the third week in January to sort that out.
Wow.
Well, we do know that we're gonna have to pay money to the district at some point for hydrants.
So
We just don't know what that is.
Sure, we've offered to settle with the water district several times, but they don't even want to sit down with us and discuss it anymore.
We tried to get mediation, we tried.
Yeah, you guys are.
Well, looks good for you and bad for them.
We'll see,
Yeah,
we'll
it's
see what a
court,
jury says, you know.
Do
So
something in
what
this-
would you, when is this, in January?
Yeah, second and third, what, they expect it to be a one-day trial, but they gave us a 2-week window.
Just like jury duty, it could be between this date and
It's like
this
the
date.
cable guy, he'll be there between the hours of 6 a.m. and 8 p.m.
Yep.
And as soon as
So
you
you could at the last minute have to add money to the budget just for it now.
No, I don't believe so.
No, because we have money,
It's been, remember they kind of.
I know, but,
No, but she's talking, Kelly's
For
talking about
2023,
adding for
or
2024.
yeah.
right, I mean, we haven't paid the water district in what, this is the third year?
Yes. So we really need to,
They're not gonna go
no.
quiet into that good night, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
let's face
You
it.
you know, and all things considered, we really should budget some money for it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because you're not gonna be able to after, what, the 15th of February?
I think our attorney, we're meeting with the attorney at the next commissioners meeting in non-public, to discuss strategy in that sense, so I don't know if we really should discuss it any further at this point, about what we should or shouldn't do.
Yeah, I would keep it blank till after that, because then we might be
I want to go sit
affecting
in the
it.
courtroom in January.
Yeah.
Well, you at least, you know, if we get to the point where we have to produce a budget, you don't have a decision. There should be a line item in there with even $10 in it, because you can get up on the floor of district meeting and go, hey, we gotta pay this.
Right.
Whether you like it or not, we gotta pay this. And do it that way.
$1 is on
That'll be a fun discussion.
you. It has been for the last 3 years,
3 years,
and then how many years
Longer
before
than
that?
my lifetime.
That's not true, because the water district wasn't formed until like 2005, when they bought the aqueduct.
Right.
The fire district wasn't legally formed until about 20 some odd years ago, 20 years ago.
1943, I think is in the, I'll look in the.
It was a precinct, but it was never formally formed correctly until
Yes, I remember
about
seeing a
21
letter.
or
I
22.
remember seeing a letter from the Tilton Board of Selectmen about something about that.
And East Tilton wasn't part of the district until
Right.
a short time ago. It's all very interesting history. But anyway, anybody have any questions
Motion
for the
to
fire
adjourn.
district budget?
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, the next meeting though, you'll probably have a pretty good answer for the salaries though, right? Because that's what you guys are gonna try to hammer out on the, or well, it'll be, no, it won't be on the
No, it won't be
30th,
on the
it'll be in the
30th.
meeting after
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, is there any talk of entering into a longer term agreement for salary and benefits? I feel like we go through this every year, or if we could lock in like a 3-year term,
Our
we wouldn't be going through
employees
this.
don't have a collective bargaining agreement.
But you could create a wage scale.
We
do
have
a
a wage-
sidebar
So I mean, you could, anticipate
or a memorandum.
for a couple of
understanding.
years, like you're at a union. Might prevent them from unionizing.
Well, I think there's a lot of benefits too. It helps us know, because typically you don't have big swings. Any of these CBA contracts, you don't have 8, 7, like it's all very regimented, like they work all that out. It just saves a lot of time. So I think knowing what that is for the next 3 years instead of, this is always the biggest mystery, right? If they did enter into an MOU, then it would give the employees, for that retention piece, they would understand where they're gonna be in 3 years, which I think is hugely helpful, and it would give us a better idea of where that play would be too. So I think it's mutually beneficial.
I'm willing to work with that, but I'm sure that the union guys would like to sit with the commissioners and discuss
Yeah.
that, if the commissioners were willing to
Sure.
discuss it.
What's something the commissioner should.
That's not really in my hands.
And then you gotta
Yeah.
get the voting body to kind of go along with that, and that's another, it's a different obstacle.
Well, I don't know, as you could,
That's like me going to my town meeting and getting somebody to make me understand that, okay, we're gonna spend $5 million to build the police department building with the promise and the understanding that the rest of the land will remain athletic fields and never be added a fire station or anything else. That's that. And then fast forward, and there's a potential idea of, let's put a fire department on. Well, no, I agreed to build that building based on that. You can't, you locked me in, but now you're unlocking me in. So you can't sell the future, and it's tough for us to encumber funds on future things when our voting body is really where the rubber meets the road. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's a heck of a tap dance.
The district meeting couldn't.
I see
vote
your
on-
logic, and I get it. I work for the state, and I love all that
Yeah.
future forecasting. Don't get me wrong.
But the district meeting couldn't vote on salaries for 25 or 26
Yeah,
into the
it's-
future.
Yeah.
You can't obligate
That's
Can't commit.
A legislative
can't commit of the other years.
body in the future, but you could have a plan
yeah.
that they know about.
Right, an MOU, like a memorandum of understanding, which
Yeah.
would have clauses in there where.
And that might help your employees as well.
Well, kind of like you got into the water agreement, that, right? You promised that you were going to do it, but
This is the plan.
yeah,
But that's
this is
up
the
to
plan. We got to
commissioners.
vote it every year.
Before I forget, I had so many people come up to me at the district meeting and afterwards complaining that they didn't have an itemized budget. I think it was the municipal service, those guys,
737.
MS 737 or whatever it is.
Yes.
Instead, so budget committee members, do you want to have our itemized budget printed out for the district meeting?
No, I told every one of those
I
people that
recommend that those, each year is right there, be filled, every meeting. If those people are that interested, they can sit here.
I handed mine to Gretchen or somebody that night of the district meeting. I said, here. I said, for everybody else that came and addressed it, I said, where were you at the public hearing? Right, to your point, where were you? Where have you been? And where were you at the public hearing? And now we're here at the, because there's always the quarterbacks at the end that want to.
Right, it's not that I don't want them to know. I do want them to know, but this is their opportunity to know.
Yeah. And we are their opportunity through the whole season. And, I think what the speed bump for us was that one typo that 1 year.
Yes.
Right, when we were over at the gym or whatever it
Yeah,
was. It
one
was
typo.
one bad
And-
cell. And I think
one person
we
went off
pumped the
about
brakes
it.
and said, you know what, we can't have this and this, so they're just going to get the 737. The torches and the pitchforks came out because of that
That
one
was
typo. It's
horrible.
like, oh, you guys are blah, blah, blah. How come that? And Scott Davis and everybody, it's like,
Yeah,
oh, you guys are just putting one over on it. I'm like, come on, it's a
This is a
mistake.
typo.
It's a math error or
Yeah.
a cell error.
Formula.
Oh, yeah, right? It's bad formula or whatever. I'm like,
well, with Excel, it rounds,
yeah.
and it could be just a rounding issue.
Oh, yeah.
It
It's
really
all
was
this
a-
conspiracy theory about
Oh, I
it.
know.
It's like, come on, just.
I just wanted to make sure I asked. Looks like the majority says no, but that's okay, that's fine too. All right, anything else?
Our new website should be going live pretty soon. Which is, it's better looking than what we have now, and I can manipulate it, and the content and stuff like that is a lot easier to put in. So it's in a beta thing right now that we're testing. It's still, the developers still aren't finished putting the finest touches on it, but hopefully that'll be better up live sooner. And the other thing is,
Will this be on the website?
we can put anything on the web, any document in the
Is
world
it-
I can put on.
Is it now?
No. We're gonna be,
That's a great idea.
we're gonna be
really.
moving
How
to,
many people
from
could
doc.
just sit there and pull it up and be sitting?
We had our
Instead of paper books,
cybersecurity assessment by Primex and our mainstay, and we're gonna have to move from a .org to a .gov. Everything will be the same, except instead of .org, it'll be .gov.
Interesting.
That's happening a lot. Like,
Well,
I think Northfield switched over to .gov. Surprised Tilton hasn't had to move over to a .gov yet. It's a whole security thing.
You're talking to somebody who absolutely hates passwords.
Oh, I understand.
You wanna find something on my computer, just turn it on, 'cause I'm gonna tell you what. My life isn't in there, but I do hate passwords.
so we have passwords that are at least 12 characters long, and we have dual authentication.
They just upped us at the state to 15. I'm like, oh man, I can only
No,
Oh, and you gotta have numbers and.
Yeah,
Everything.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and two-step, yeah, well, sends a text, oh, I gotta enter this code back in.
Yep.
And the thing is, can I remember the code to get it back in there, because I'm
Yeah.
on my phone?
This code will self-destruct in 45 seconds.
Anything else, anybody?
Warrant articles.
I read it,
Yes.
state my.
What's the, are we going for a station this year? What's the anticipation? Is it
Fall.
too early to tell for that? I know that's gonna be, gonna be highly effective how
The,
people
the
vote.
plan is, the building committee is working now with the design build team, Lorero Construction, and their architect. We're not at the architectural stage yet. The plan is to determine through the space needs study what size building, how many bays, what do we need exactly. And then there's discussion, there was a vote several meetings ago as to, do you want it, amongst the building committee members, your solution, Park Street, Sanborn Road, or a combination. And we overwhelmingly voted for Sanborn Road. But we don't own the property at Sanborn Road. So the question comes up, are we willing to put before the voters a project that we don't even own the property to build on? So my feeling is that this year we're going to, because that won't be voted on until the town meeting in Tilton, the Sanborn Road site, the property transfer, potential property transfer, until the Tilton town meeting, and then at our, at the district meeting, whether we want to enter into that agreement. So if it's our goal to build that Sanborn Road, then it cannot happen this year. Yeah, or next, I'm sorry, 2024, we'd have to push it out to 2025.
Okay.
But we're moving full speed ahead. We're trying to do everything we can to get the preparatory work done to, once we get some further guidance as to what direction we're gonna go in. We'll decide whether we're going to do a public outreach program this year or wait until next year. But it really, right now, it hinges upon what it's the space needs study right now that we have not gone over with a fine tooth comb. We have, the designer did space needs study, and through working with the chief decided this is how many square feet we need and this is how many bays we need. The building committee has not gone over those proposals yet with a fine tooth comb, and that's our next step. Because there seems to be a lot of discussion as to whether we need the square footage that is being proposed or not. So we want to get that. That's our next goal, is space needs study. What's the building committee's recommendation for number of stalls and square footage? And then there was also some discussion about one of the commissioners and a member of the fire department mentioned that they would be very much in favor of 2 stations, which makes some sense, but from an operational standpoint, I think my personal opinion is makes no sense. But I'm not a firefighter, so I'm taking guidance from the members of the fire department, from the commissioners, and from the chief as far as operations. I'm not convinced that a 2-station solution is a solution at all right now. So I think what we're going to aim for either Sanborn Road which we've already, as a building committee, have said that's where we think would be the best single station solution. But we're not adverse to looking at reducing the size of the building and seeing if we can get it to fit on Park Street.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of question marks.
So, Paul, if Sanborn Road was the end-all solution, would they tear down Park Street?
No.
Say then it's a
They'd
two-building.
have to,
Right?
No,
because it's a land swap.
No, it isn't.
Center
Park
Street.
Street. You
Center
said
Street
Park
would be
Street.
Park
swapped.
Street.
Oh, you said Park Street.
Yeah, so if it's a,
Park Street would
I'm
stay
sorry.
as it is,
Yeah.
as a garage, and that's one of the benefits
Yeah.
of going to Sanborn Road, is that we still have garage space here.
right,
And because we're not touching the building, we don't have to bring it up to today's
Right.
codes, which, that, I have some kind of mixed feelings about that. I'm concerned about anything in that building when I read the geotechnical surveys and the inspection reports and stuff
with the
about that
borings and all
building.
that.
Right, and also the construction techniques that were used to build that building.
Right,
You know, if we're saying, if it's unsafe, we know it's unsafe, the engineers have said it's unsafe, and we continue to put personnel in there, is that something that we want to do? Now, if we're storing equipment in there, that's one thing, but as soon as someone opens that door and enters that building, now we have personal
yeah.
liability.
I didn't know
also.
Park Street was in failing health along, I thought Center Street was the sick
So-
building. I thought
so
Park Street was a
the
solid
issue-
building.
The
Yeah.
issue with Park Street is the floor.
Yeah.
The thickness of the concrete of the floor is not sufficient to support the truck weight. There's a lot of cracks
All right.
in the floor. My biggest fear is the front of the building, where the garage doors are. There's no strength in that because there's 4 gigantic holes cut in it. And that's my fear, is
What does the
that
building sit on?
slab.
Slab.
That building sits on a floating slab?
Well, it's got footings,
Well, that's what I mean, does it
Yeah.
have, is that a 4-foot wall?
4-foot footings.
So, well, no,
But the-
there's
the-
footings, and then there's a wall.
Yes.
So is it a 4-foot wall on
No.
footings?
No, the footings, the footings come up to about 6 inches above grade, and it's frame after that.
So
Are
you're
there-
talking grade bead now? Not
I'm
4-foot
talking,
walls?
I'm talking
No.
about the area
Really?
where the trucks
Concrete
are
wall,
parked.
4 feet above grade? No, it's, the concrete stuff's about here.
Well,
which
yeah,
is
that's what
about-
I mean, it's 4 foot in the ground?
Yes, it's a frost,
Okay, it's a frost wall, so
Yeah.
it's got a set of footings with a 4-foot wall on top of it?
yes,
And that's what's structurally holding that building up?
yes.
Well, it doesn't make, the floor doesn't have anything to do with the weakness.
The floor doesn't have anything to do with the strength of the walls.
That's right.
Right.
That's, the
But-
floor's not holding the building up, you could take the floor out and replace it.
Yes.
Yes,
So-
and that's one of the things, but that's one of the options. Here's the thing, is now once you get in there and start performing construction on the building, now you have to bring the whole building up to code. So, that's,
Ching, ching,
Yeah, exactly.
ching.
so that's one of the reasons that leaving Park Street alone is kind of within our focus.
So you wanna just leave it a barn?
Yes, store equipment in there. And that saves us putting a bunch of new stalls in a news station.
Interesting, all right. Budget questions, anybody?
Reiterate my motion to adjourn.
All right,
Reiterate.
Non-debatable.
Non-debatable.
It's by my third.
but we still vote on the motion.
The apple.
Motion on the
The
table,
pinata.
all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I never asked for opposition or abstention because it's not
I'm
debatable.
gonna vote with my feet.
All right,
Again.
thank you everybody for coming.
If anybody has any questions, please contact me, endeavor to answer them.
Your email address is on the website, right?
I don't even know.
It
is on the new website.
It is on the old one as well. It's mwctar@tnfd.org.
All right, thank you everybody for
Next
coming.
meeting
We'll
on the
see you
30th.
on the
30th.
30th. And I'll let Charlie and Jane know, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Tell Jane we miss her. Charlie, not so much. No.
Just speak for yourself. Tell Jane
Yeah.
you miss her.
The 7-member, we need 4 for the quorum, okay. good.
So, yeah, I'll send out the notice of the next meeting, and then